안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. 2020 스마트 비즈니스 엑스포에 참여해 주신 여러분께 감사드립니다. 발표를 시작하기 전에 몇 가지 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 저는 이번 세션 사회자로 카이타에서 CFO를 맡고 있는 오종민입니다. 원활한 진행을 위해서 참가자 전원 음성으로 합니다. 발표 중에 질문이 있으신 분들은 채팅창이나 Q&A 창을 통해서 한글 또는 영어로 사회자에게 질문해 주시면 발표 후 질문 시간에 종합해서 사회자가 발표자에게 대표로 질문하고 답하는 방식으로 진행합니다. 발표 내용은 전부 레코딩하고 이벤트 후에 공유될 예정입니다. 발표 중 여러분의 모습도 같이 레코딩이 될 수 있고 공유될 수 있다는 말씀드립니다. 발표되는 내용과 슬라이드는 달라스 한인상공회의소와 한인 IT 연합회의 서면 동의 없이는 재사용하거나 공유하실 수 없습니다. 오늘 발표 내용이 필요하시거나 다른 분과 공유하시기를 원하신 분들은 달라스 한인상공회의소와 한인 IT 연합회에 연락해 주시기 바랍니다. 오늘 발표는 4차 산업과 패러다임 시프트라는 제목으로 손지민 님께서 발표해 주시겠습니다. 발표는 영어로 진행됩니다. Welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining us today at 2020 Smart Business Expo. Before we start, I'd like to tell you a few housekeeping items. The moderator for this session is Jongmin Oh, who is CFO at KAITA. All participants will be mute throughout the session. Any questions you may have, please use the chat or Q&A window to the moderator, either in English or Korean. The moderator will collect all questions and ask the speaker later in Q&A if time permits. This session will be recorded and shared later. During the session, some of you may be included and shared as part of the entire recording. All contents and the slide cannot be used and shared without GDK, ACC, and KAITA. If you need any of the contents and the slide, please contact GDK, ACC, and KAITA. Today's presentation is founder and presidents of KAITA by Bryant in English. Speaker, now you can present.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Let me know when you guys can see my screen. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, welcome everyone. So today's topic is Fourth Industrial Revolution and Paradigm Shift for the Future of the Cloud. So first, let me give a little introduction about myself. My name is Bryant, and I'm the president, founder, and CTO of Korean American IT Association, also known as KAITA. I'm a senior consultant at an IT company called Red Hat, which is a leader in open source software technologies, where 90% of Fortune 500 companies are using Red Hat solutions. Before Red Hat, I've experienced working for IBM, Home Depot, American Airlines, Citigroup, and various startup companies. I also regularly write for Red Hat sponsor opensource.com blog, enable sysadmin blog, Red Hat developer blog, and my own Medium blog. I also have YouTube channel, though it's really more like a hobby. Oh, I also found a small community for Koreans who are interested in investing for stock market and real estate in the United States. I cannot live without caffeine because I'm a caffeine addict, and I'm also working out freak as I daily work out 2-3 hours per day. If you see the links here, you can connect with me in very many different ways. Okay, so enough about me and move on. So I normally didn't watch the TV other than CNBC news. I especially did not watch a lot of Korean dramas. But as I keep working out and doing cardiovascular activities like learning machine or climbing machine, I realized that the time goes so well when I'm watching Korean drama while working out. That's when I realized, yeah, this is how you do multitasking. Oops, it is an excuse, of course, but I started watching a lot of Korean dramas. Due to this terrible coronavirus, of course, I watch more Korean dramas and movies. Well, I guess that's yet another excuse. One thing I'm actively watching right now is Korean drama available on Netflix called Startup, like a startup company. It is a story about Koreans, made up Silicon Valley called Sandbox, and a drama illustrator started a company called Samsung Tech, which means Three Mountain Technology, but really based out of their last names. Because three people are founders, trying to get into Sandbox, that's Silicon Valley, and trying to become a successful company. As you can expect from any Korean drama, if you watch any of them, you cannot miss triangular love relationship, right? That's one good part of it. And this is a little spoiler, so cover your ears if you don't want to listen. This company called Samsung Tech created a service based on artificial intelligence and machine learning. And you can remove your ear because you can listen now. AI and machine learning. Wait, where did you hear about that before, right? You've heard that before. Well, do you think it is a coincidence that there is a Korean drama about a startup company now? Not only that, this drama talks about super duper technology topics like AI and machine learning. Even if you have a job not related to any IT at all, you've probably at least heard about coding education, programming, cloud, content computing, and AR, augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality. And these IT technology topics are exactly what this 2020 Smart Business Expo seminar week has been covered. That is right now during this entire week. Let me give you another example. Google, Microsoft, Uber, and Korean companies like Naver, Kakao, Coupang. If you have a grandfather or grandma, they probably heard of these companies before. If you're a parent who has a children, your young kid probably heard about this company. And all of these companies, yes, they're IT or tech companies. March 2016, a few years ago from now, in this year, in this time, and something unbelievable happened. Ordinary people would ask, what is this date? But this was truly the remarkable moment they will remember in the history forever. Two fields, with one of them being a board game called Go, or Baduk in Korean, and another field being an AI and machine learning in computer science, are changed completely. The situation in this field were quite opposite. For the professional in Go or Baduk, this was a depressing moment. For the people working in AI machine learning, this was probably the best news ever, giving you joy similar to your favorite sports team winning an Olympic, NBA, or Super Bowl. This news is when the Google's, the company, AI machine learning system called AlphaGo, through the DeepMind department, won against Lee Sedol, who is the 9th grandmaster in the game of Go, winning 4 out of 5 game matches. But this was not the first time when the artificial intelligence machine won against the human players. In February 10, 1996, IBM's Deep Blue won the chess game against Russian champion Garry Kasparov and surprised the world. In 2011, IBM supercomputer Watson won against many champions in a quiz show called Jeopardy. But this Baduk or Go, this simple board game has complexity that has no equal. Scientists, engineers previously say that Baduk or the Go is a finer frontier of artificial intelligence. Well, that is because number of possible moves in Baduk is 10 to the 172 or close to infinity. So we are right now in the front of a fourth industrial revolution. No, maybe we are already living inside it and breathe together, but maybe we just don't realize it yet. The previous 3 industrial revolutions changed our world forever. First industrial revolution started with the machinery explosion due to the invention of steam engines. The jobs that were manually done by hands before were mostly replaced with the machines and equipment. And this became the moment where the country with the industry-focused economy became the superpower and wealthier compared to the agricultural-based economy countries. Second industrial revolution is about the mass production due to electricity. Because of this, people start have the nightlife, and you can work late at night. That's so good, right? Everyone can afford the vehicles and cars, and their life became more luxurious. More middle-class people got created. Now, as you know well, third industrial revolution is about the internet age. You all have smartphones, I do too. And you can connect with anyone around the world with your favorite messenger app. You can read the news of election and other things, and around the world close to real time. In this coronavirus pandemic hell, you can attend a virtual class offered from your schools, and you can listen to this 2020 Smart Business Expo sessions through the Zoom. And no matter where you are, as you're right now, from the speakers who are located in Dallas, Texas, New York, Seoul, Helsinki, Finland, Michigan, everywhere. So now, what is this fourth industrial revolution then? Fourth industrial revolution is a time when the Internet of Things, surely known as IoT, becomes reality, and the AI and machine learning becomes ubiquitous. So this smart device are everywhere around us, and the wall between our real world and the virtual or cyber world get broken down. There will be no distinction. What type of jobs exist today that can be replaced by robot, AI, ML, and automation? In this slide, as you can see, can you name the jobs that can be replaced by AI, machine learning, and automations? I give you 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ding, ding, ding. So how many did you get? The answer is all the jobs shown here. The probability that this job being replaced will vary depending on job to job, but theoretically, they can be all replaced with the robot or automation. Among this, tax accountant have the possibility of getting replaced is 98.7%, accounts are 93.5%, paralegal is 94%. But the possibility of the software engineers and IT expert getting replaced about 3 to 5%, very minimal. The paradigm shift brought by fourth industrial revolution is automation. It is understandable that many people are afraid and don't want it. But is it really the fact that future expect less place for humans to work? Well, so you guys know McKinsey & Company, management consulting firm, prestigious firm. McKinsey & Company report the following study. 800 million jobs, that's about 1/3 of a workforce in 42 countries, can be gone due to this fourth industrial revolution. But let's look at this from a different angle. In November 2017, a consulting firm, Cognizant, another consulting firm, Cognizant, published a paper called 21 Jobs of the Future, and jobs written here do not exist today. AI health technician, ethical sourcing officer, AI business development manager, and so on. The names of these jobs are not familiar to us now. However, about a few decades ago, people at the time probably thought the same about cloud engineer or the DevOps engineer, developer. While the previous industrial revolution indeed eliminate some jobs that were created during this time was much greater. So who is right? Let me tell you one story. This is based on Korean or Chinese story. There was once a mother who had 2 sons. An older son sells umbrellas while a younger son sells sandals made of straw. This mother always lived with the concerns and worry to her 2 sons different business. If the day is sunny, the mother worried about younger son who sells the shoes. If the day is raining, the mother worried about older son who sells umbrellas. But one day, a stranger came and told her a secret to be free from the worry. If the day is sunny, be glad about the younger son's shoes business. If the day is rainy, be glad about older son's umbrella business. So what does this tell us? everything is really about a perspective. Take a look at this glass. What do you see? Even if one sees the same glass, some people say this is a glass half empty, while another people say this glass is half full. Again, it is really a matter of a perspective. I also took a course called business management when I was in university, and one of the required reading was Who Moved My Who Moved My Cheese. It was a small storybook with less than 100 pages with the big font. In this book, two mice called Sniff and Scurry and two humans called Ham and Ho appear. They're all trapped inside the same maze, and this maze has hidden cheese in different places. So the mice and human both search for cheese throughout the maze. For mice, it is completely normal. Well, that's because these mice act based out of their own instinct and they're hungry. Mice keep searching for the cheese because they're hungry. Ham and Ho also search for the cheese, but their purpose are different. These humans keep searching for the cheese because, well, they want to be happy. Well, you humans think too much. Although they start to move independently, Sniff and Scurry, as well as Ham and Ho, found a location where a lot of cheese are stored, and they're happy. But time passed, and cheese are almost gone. Mice, without any hesitation, already left the location to discover a new cheese. But the people, just two people, named Ham and Ho, are different. Because Ham and Ho are people, they keep getting afraid and search inside the same location and even break some walls to find the hidden cheese. But there is no cheese. These humans keep denying reality, but eventually Ham and Ho's their decision split. Ham decided to stay there while Ho finally overcame with the fear and started to take the journey again. Ham keeps getting lost inside the maze. He finally finds another factory with a lot of cheese where the mice named Sniff and Scurry are already there. In a business management class, we say that Ho has a proactive personality, meaning that he takes an active approach to solve a problem. The opposite word for this is reactive, which means that the person only deals with the problem that he or she faced. One with the proactive personality take that change is a natural part of this world and adapt to it. But the one with the reactive personality is fearful about the change and try to avoid it. Fourth industrial revolution will bring change for everyone, and that change may eliminate a lot of jobs. Your job position might get eliminated forever. Nevertheless, the fourth industrial revolution can also create a lot of jobs and opportunities. Let me give you one example. Ryan Kaji is a 10-year-old boy, and his YouTube channel generated an annual revenue about 20 million US dollar. Just look around you. You have the YouTuber, Instagrammers, bloggers, and pro gamer, PC gamer or whatever, video gamer, who make the much money as the corporation CEOs. Do you think it is just an accident or a luck? Davos conference at Davos cluster, this is a city, Switzerland, is an annual conference that is well known for its World Economic Forum. In January 2020, this year, the topic was about the role of a new industrialist, and the moderator, Hillary Cotton, asked the following questions to two panelists, one being Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, and other being MasterCard CEO Ajay Venga. What is the most significant thing you think an industry can do now? That means we are right in front of the fourth industrial revolution. So what is left for an industrialist? Microsoft CEO's response is interesting, and here is what he said. If I can pick one thing, and that if we don't do it, we don't exist, is to empower people across the planet. If you think about the fourth industrial revolution, the best thing we can do is democratize the digital tools and digital technologies so they can have the broader set of impact. So here's a quote. Let me give you some time to read it. And you can find the from the YouTube and then previous places. So third industrial revolution about the internet revolution, and this made it possible that everyone to leverage the tools and opportunities previously available by big corporation. Through the freelancer platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, content platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Medium, and e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Etsy, eBay, and Shopify, anyone can earn money as long as person imagine what to do, plan, and execute on it. Whether I want to learn about iPhone application development, website design, physics, or English, I can learn any of this for free through platforms like edX, which is supported by MIT and Harvard, or Coursera, which is supported by Stanford University. Or I can pay small fees to learn pretty much anything through Udemy or Udacity. Now, if you know how to code, no matter where you are, whether it's at your house, like I am, a coffee shop, which is my favorite place, or school, or a garage, you can create application to create a startup companies. They may be turned into next Google or next Facebook. So, okay, all right, so far, I only talked about what is a fourth industrial revolution, but I did not mention anything about what opportunities are there and what paradigm shift wait for us. In this week's 2020 Smart Business Expert Seminar, there are many experts and specialists, whether it is for AI, ML, AR, VR, quantum computing, serverless, etc. And these are exactly the subject of fourth industrial revolution. So I highly recommend for you to visit and to listen to those sessions as well. I think we have just today and tomorrow. However, you somehow listen to me so far and bear with me. And it would be terrible if I just let you go. So I will talk about a few subjects, where one is about fintech, financial technology, and other is about cloud paradigm shift using multi-cloud and edge computing. So first thing is about fintech or financial technology. On November 8, 2016, India government made 500 India rupee and 1,000 Indian rupee. That's where the rupee is India's currency, as a part of a demonetization policy, thus to stop the existing currency and replacing with a new one. That decision raised a lot of debate and concern, but the purpose was clear. The government, India, want to reduce the black money and to expand digital payments usage and financial infrastructure. That decision by India, which has the second highest population at 1.38 billion next to China, which is first, that stands at 1.4 billion people, was a big news for the business around the world. And the financial companies like Visa and MasterCard, or even cloud companies like Amazon and Microsoft to decide to further expand the business infrastructure to India. According to a management consulting firm, here again, McKinsey & Company's 2020 report, payment industry generate $1.5 trillion this year, but it will likely generate $2 trillion in next 4 years, which is an average growth of 6% or additional $500 billion from now. As you can see, fintech is a technology which is digitizing and processing the payment, has a lot of growth potential. Most popular B2C solution is Square, which is also managed by Twitter's CEO, Jack Dorsey. People at Korea might not be so familiar with the name, but Square's small device, they have a different version though, enables a business to leverage a contactless payment by just plugging small Square device into a smartphone, and they can accept the payment, whether it's through a credit card, Apple Pay, Android Pay, or Fitbit Pay. According to the data specialization company International Data Corporation, or shortly IDC, its 2020 survey state that 60% of business will use a contactless payment by 2023. Venmo, which is a mobile app, enables to go to a restaurant and split the check with your friends or anyone just by knowing a Venmo user ID. This makes the Dutch Pay so easy. You don't need to get into argument anymore. Let me give you another example. Stripe, which is a company that did not go to public yet, initial public offering, is a company to look out for if you're interested in investment. This company's product leveraged something called application programming interface, known as API, to process the online payment with just a few simple few lines. Instacart, Google, Amazon, Lyft, and Shopify all use this company's solution. This is a good example of business-to-business fintech. Cryptocurrency and Bitcoin are known as the currency of the future by some people, but the investment in Bitcoin also stirred a lot of discussion around the world. PayPal recently released a platform to trade a Bitcoin, and the company announced that capability will expand into its child platform, Venmo. Right now, there are over 2,000 cryptocurrency around the world. As the United States country, national debt keep getting bigger and bigger. This raised a lot of debate whether the United States dollar is still safe as world standard currency. And the blockchain is a technology born out of cryptocurrency. IBM also offers blockchain solution, and the cryptocurrency, API processing system, digital payment, and contactless payment are all part of a fintech that we should look forward to. So now let's move into multi-cloud. This is really my domain, multi-cloud. Whether one decides to use a digital financial infrastructure, AI, machine learning, or any IT technology, the data need to be transferred over the network, and the centralized server like cloud is necessary. Right now, the way the business operates, not just focusing on its own country, but other countries, well, due to huge revenue opportunities overseas. Few moments ago, I talked about India's demonetization. After all, to operate the business in another country, the company needs to follow the rules, governance, and policy of that operating country. This affects the expansion of a financial infrastructure, and the cloud is exactly the technology that controls control and operate. First time, cloud started as a concept called public cloud, like Amazon Web Service, Microsoft, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform. Later, container was born, and the Kubernetes platform like a Red Hat OpenShift got created. Now, whether it is AWS, Azure, GCP, or bare metal, multi-cloud became the paradigm shift in the cloud market, as technology is agnostic to whatever the cloud or the server you use. For instance, let's say AWS, Amazon Web Service, used in the United States, but the GCP, Google Cloud Platform, or bare metal can be used in India. to control, to monitor, and to manage all this cloud and server in one place. That is multi-cloud paradigm. Let me give a second. Okay. In June 2019, a big news came out that a former Amazon software engineer stole about 100 million users' credit application from a giant credit card company, Capital One. The Capital One is one of the companies that fully utilize and leverage AWS. And while it's hard to blame the Amazon for the new this news became big enough for many companies to pay attention to the security again for the cloud and to adopt where they still want to use the public cloud. And a few weeks ago, we heard about the hacking involved with the Robinhood, which is a mobile app famous among millennials trading stocks. And the Zoom, what we are using right now, security concern with the China's data center will become matter. Now, networking, which is to control the data flow, security, which is secures the data, and storage, which is stores the data, are the field that will become more and more important as industry adopt to the cloud. And as a platform like a Red Hat, OpenShift, which enable containerization with on-prem solution, you'll start to see many industry will switch to multi-cloud pattern. So now the last topic is edge computing, which is similar. If the traditional cloud was about the way to send the data and the information to the data center or the central server and to process using the virtual machine or the VM, the next trend you will see is edge computing, where an individual device processes most of the data and calculation. This edge computing has close relationship with the Internet of Things or IoT. If IoT is about individual device processing data inside its own device with own algorithm, AI, machine learning, so the device can become smarter. The edge computing architecture is about sending the portion of those data back to the central server. Edge computing has an advantage of being more secure and have the shorter processing speed to the traditional cloud due to its computation mostly done at the edge. And this really played the key role, important role as we move toward a smart home, smart factory, smart city in the fourth industrial revolution. Hence, how we'll process the data will become the foremost important as the 5G enables the fast data transaction, and the edge computing will become the technology that all the global companies will put the high priority on. So which are the companies that who bet the future on the edge computing? Companies offering the cloud infrastructure like Amazon, Microsoft, Red Hat, IBM, and Google are certain to be included for sure. Telecommunication companies like Samsung, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile will play the big role as well. The content delivery network specializing companies like Akamai, Cloudflare, and Fastly will also have a big pie in this place. But no matter which technology is used, the field in security, storage, and networking will play the tremendously important role later. To conclude, fourth industrial revolution is already around us and is ready for us. Fourth industrial revolution is accumulation of AI, machine learning, IoT, robotic, cloud, and quantum computing. And this will change our life. How to gain the benefit and to use it for your opportunity is up to your hand. Thank you. This concludes the presentation.
Thanks, Brian. That was a fantastic presentation. So I guess everyone has some kind of concept of the fourth revolution and kind of in mind, and then Let's move to Q&A session. So now you may post your questions on the Q&A window or chatting window. While I'm waiting, I have a few questions I'd like to ask Brian.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Who are the leading companies in edge computing in cloud industry?
Well, I want to say is a redhead, but so it's hard to say. So I mean, I guess there's a different way to look at it, right? On one angle, like all the CDN companies, right? Like Akamai, for example, like definitely like was it because if you want to transfer data fast, there's like you need to play the multi-region and data center, multi-region data center become the key role, and how to speed up the data, right? Really become important matter. Of course, like Microsoft and then Amazon and then those who have a data center, maybe those have a person that's maybe they those have that feature, right? They can offer the feature, but really that I think specialization company can focus more on that delivery part. So CDN company like Akamai, Cloudflare, and Fastly definitely has some leading edge, but so the edge computing is still the new field. So now where does it actually you can find is kind of hard to say because most people think about edge computing like a Raspberry Pi, which is a small device. You can be more for the hobby, right? But how is it actually used as a scale? How does it use in industry? That's really difficult to say. But one place I see is like something like automation coming from industry field like oil and gas, energy, and then like a manufacturing those places. Because as you can automate the infrastructure manufacturing, those things become actually easier to apply this edge computing area. So looking from that perspective, definitely I would just say that like a lot of companies who had a data center, like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, definitely will play the key role. But note that like because of that the government policy, right? Like for example, China may have Alibaba, and then Korea has Naver and Kakao. They also do have their own cloud. That's why the multi-cloud become important. So edge computing, I would say, is still the very, very like at infancy. It is very at the start. So I don't think that anyone has a leading edge right now, and that's why it has so many opportunities, and the company is evaluating it. But I would just say that a lot of startups were focusing in different area, and even like I was meeting with some Korean company present in this conference or the expo, and I think some companies do specialize it, and then so there are a lot of opportunity for everyone. But so as far right now, there's really I think the opportunity is pretty much open to anyone, any startup, and any corporation. That's why it is so important to be I guess moving toward edge computing. I guess so. There's pretty like it's a same playing field for everyone pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, how can you prepare for getting a job from cloud companies? Maybe, and also, how effective do AWS or Azure cloud certificates help getting into the cloud industry?
Yeah, so two-part question. One is about how to get the job in cloud. So definitely, I think when you graduate out of college first time, if you're in that situation, the situation a bit different because you probably didn't, even for me, maybe now it's different, but when I was graduate out of college, cloud was there, but it's not really that like not a lot of people know about it because it's a lot of university and then lot of university and the college course are tend to focus more on the core part of like coding and programming, right? You may take a class like a class course, they may like do play with it like in AWS, but there's only like a few 2-3 like specialization course or extracurricular like class, right? So like if you're in that scenario, I mean if you're interested in it, then basically you need to expose to it. That's first step. But as far as how we get started, because you are already interested in it, is that I think the first thing is you need to be convinced yourself why you want to learn cloud and why it's important and why you need to be able to explain what cloud it is. So there's a two part of the knowledge. One is that is for knowledge part, can you explain it? Do you really believe in it? Can you ever to elaborate on it, right? There's that part, the knowledge part about basically, simple, fundamental, knowledge. But there's also application part. So now, which means, can you apply it? Can you do something with it? Now, from the knowledge part, what I can recommend, of course, if you're in school, try to leverage the best out of it, right? But let's say if you are already out of a college and want to learn about it because you heard about it, or you just want to do something about it, if you cannot find any resource, of course, say the Udemy, Udacity, and then Coursera, they all offer that. But one of my favorite, how I started out before moving into cloud domain, because I was interested in it, was a website called edx.org, which is you can take for free, and they have a sponsor from like the Red Hat, the MIT, Harvard, and one I got from was the IEEE, which is for the electrical engineering, and then they give like general overview, and I took that for free and finished like within like a few weeks, right? They give like general idea what is a cloud, like what is infrastructure as a service, what is a software as a service, what is a platform as a service. So basically going through those kind of things, and then you have to build your knowledge, understand what is exactly cloud, right? Then as you gain those knowledge, then you can like move forward. Then how you want to apply it, because essentially what you want to do is that I want to apply it. So now once you learn the knowledge, you will see no matter which cloud you choose, whether it is AWS or Azure or GCP or even Red Hat, you'll find that all the fundamental like layers and then those things are same, just have different names and different ways to operate. For example, they all have a computing layer, they all have a networking layer, they have a database layer or storage layer. Those things are all same, and networking is kind of same, and all those things. And the security session that our chief marketing officer Nam-Su Choi presented before, those things are all kind of part of the same kind of they all have the same all same in all the cloud, right? So take whatever you want. And maybe then right now, it used to be that if somebody asked me what certification course to take, I mean, my answer would be AWS, because I think a lot of people hire that. But I think there might be some shift right now with the Azure definitely catching up, and also already caught up. And GCP is also growing. So I think it really depending on like how you want to play the field. But know that if you just take a few months and spend time on it and good at it and get a certification, right? Definitely it helps to, if you just want to learn other things, it becomes so easy. You can just take maybe 1 or 2 months to actually learn something else as well. As far as the certification, where it's helpful or not, for that, I think for the cloud, it's definitely helpful, because I think so you start by learning about cloud and maybe try to play with the AWS and GCP, because if you want to pass the exam, that's also part of it. So, but as you become comfortable, that's when is a time to take a certification. Certification will definitely help you to get an interview, but I've been seeing a lot of, because I've been in an interview panel before a lot of time, I've seen the resume full with the certification, all those things, and he or she was not able to answer like a single question about DevOps or cloud. That kind of shows that even that person has a certification knowledge, that knowledge is really shallow, right? So I think it's important thing is that you need to focus on what is the fundamental and how to apply for it. And then you have to build the knowledge and become confident enough to tackle. So certification certainly doesn't help, but it may only get you the first step. How you want to take it from there is really depends. So because you need to understand what really the cloud is and how to apply for it and build it. Then when you become comfortable, you know that it's right time when you actually can pursue like a field in cloud. Yeah.
Okay. I think this might be my favorite question. So force revolutions and paradigm shifts is often known as emerging of the disruptor in the industry in different domains. So what do you think about the Tesla, and what is the potential about it, and how this going to play in the future?
Did you say Tesla?
Yes.
Tesla?
Yes.
Okay. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry, I maybe didn't get the
Yeah.
second
So
part.
what do you think about Tesla, and then what is the potential of it, and also how it's gonna disrupt in the industry?
Okay. So first of all, don't get me wrong. I used to invest in Tesla. So, but now I guess not anymore. That doesn't say I don't believe in Tesla. Personally, I like the Elon Musk. I think he's a really awesome guy. I read his biography and all the documentary, and then before he was really famous at all, I know all the history behind it. So there's one side for the when I look at the company, I look at the company's leader, and I think people, just like KAITA and all the people important. People really matter. As long as we be with right people and like right culture and like CEO, the company will be successful no matter what. Or even that company fail because of management or whatever, or there is not in the right market, that people will be successful no matter what. Elon Musk is a really unique person. So in then that tech leader is leading the Tesla, SpaceX, and a bunch of other companies. So now, in going back to the Teslas, like how it's going to be in the matter in the fourth industrial version, he definitely made something that nobody or not. Okay, so first time Tesla was not the first company who made electric car. When the car was made the first time with the thing that started with the car Benz, I think using become the Mercedes Benz, it was started, I think originally was a speculated electric car, but then later became the gasoline. So the electric car later came out. It was the original idea, but then somehow oil and gas took over, and first car became an oil and gas car and go gasoline car. Then later, like at Ford or GM made an electric car, but oil and gas and energy company like Lee lobby the government. So that's when it got shut down, or also the production cost was really high. So that's another reason why it got shut down. Elon Musk kind of took a different approach because he knew that losing the money is natural part of it. But as long as you can bring it up and then actually start producing, you will be honestly then cost will eventually go down. So then actually the Elon Musk and Tesla be successful at the making the green car because they're now at the stage where it is already actually at this in the successful level. I think they're making they're selling 400,000 or more cars per years and things like that, right? So I mean, so Tesla's future is bright, and then there's SpaceX, which is different part. But now, like for example, Tesla, I mean, tends to think it's already revolutionized the electric car, and it will be successful. I believe it will be the leader in the electric car. But now, question is that is it Tesla more than a car company? Is it really about a tech company? Is it an energy company? I think it can, but that's really, I think what's going to be difficult right now is that now the Tesla was a previously unknown player, but now everyone knows about Tesla. There are a lot of competition catching up because previously all this energy and then car companies didn't pay attention because, hey, Tesla is going to fail. You are spending too much money and it's not possible. And then they made it possible. Now they are taking it seriously. So now the Tesla difficulty and challenge will not come from like where Tesla itself can be successful, but competition will eventually, because Tesla has to make money, right? Will kind of make it that harder for Tesla to compete. So now Tesla definitely has an edge in with the technology and then all the car manufacturing, those things. But from the market perspective, maybe people will see it differently, right? So, I mean, Tesla has to use that advantage to keep expanding, but now everyone's watching Tesla. Everyone watching what it can. So Tesla definitely become an energy company. And then I don't know what is election result right now. I think we may decide sometime this week. But I guess maybe if that is really moving toward green energy policy, definitely Tesla and a lot of energy companies going to become a lot of opportunity available. So Tesla future is bright for sure. And the fourth industrial revolution wise, Tesla is definitely like one of the leaders in that area. And then, I mean, other business like SpaceX and then that Hyperloop and those things are really exciting. I'm really excited what Tesla or Elon Musk's company will bring into the play and in the paper. But I think that as far as Tesla, I think that it's definitely a leader for one in the fourth industrial revolution, but how it expanded more get difficult and more difficult because of competition from that marketplace. or the market. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess the next, no, I think this is going to be maybe a last question. So it's the question from Mimi Park.
Yeah.
Thank you for the insightful presentation. I've seen companies with the confidential and the sensitive customer data struggling with the transition to the public cloud. Should public cloud still be a no-brainer for them? Is the available security good enough to justify the move to the cloud?
So this question, I think, so previously, I think yesterday, there was a Chung Kim, who is a chief architect at Red Hat, present about open hybrid cloud. And then like just a few minutes ago, security presentation was there. So as far as like, there's a kind of covered both area, but what I can say is that it really comes down to, so like cloud is not new anymore. A lot of cloud, a lot of companies already having adopted cloud. Now, just that there's a question remain that is it as more cloud become like having capability become more and more, there's a require more paying attention to all the security part and all the networking part and those things. Just now we're in a different playing field, right? But so how usually, so as to answer the question, how the usually companies play is that you don't have to expose everything into cloud. So that's why we call hybrid cloud, right? So like for that, if you want a bank, if you're like some like, like some really has deal with the sensitive information like Department of Defense or CIA or NASA, what company decided to do when they use a multi-cloud is that they can decide to virtualize or maybe just to still be in secure environment or in data center or bare metal in one place, but they create a microservice or another that is in virtual machine environment in the public cloud and only expose the maybe presentation layer or the back-end processing layer. So you have to kind of build a layer in a sense that you don't need to plan and dump everything. Of course, there's a thing called lift and shift approach. Like don't need the minimal refactoring, minimal change, just moving into cloud kind of part, right? There is that kind of different, I guess, strategy available for how you want to migrate to cloud. But usually the best way to do it is that the presentation layer and then just a safe part of the moving to the cloud, they move that first. And then what is most sensitive about it, they can still remain the data. So depending on what the data or the functionality you're dealing with, they decide to evaluate that. That's why we have a high level architecture, top down level, look at it, and then start looking from bottom up approach, start to containerizing or start virtualizing some of them and maybe moving to public cloud. But hey, this is still needs to be in the remaining data center. They maybe still virtualize it, but only for the advantage, but they still remain their own system or their own data center. So they start connecting the dots together. Service start talking to each other. And then security come in between, like for the transaction layer or the networking layer, there's different ways to secure it. So to move into cloud, don't think about you have to move everything to cloud. Of course, then you probably have to look from top-down perspective, high level, 20,000 feet overview and 25,000 feet overview. What we can move to cloud and what advantage or benefit we can get out of it. And then once they start evaluating, that's when they assign developer and consulting like us to say, hey, this can be containerized first, like LDAP application or microservice user presentation application. That's easy to do because it can be do lift and shift. Let's start moving those into that first. But when we want to communicate back to our data center or the data, they just are using maybe JSON, but there's another security layer, secure that, and make a transaction. So it's really about how architecting it, even for Capital One incident. I think it's just that it's all about, I think what happened was that there's just vulnerability that was exposed that was not secure. And there was a kind of backdoor for the hackers to come in. Because as long as you can secure all and look at all the secure part of it and what can be exposed and what is vulnerable, that's really the white hacker's job, right? Security expert's job to look at what possible vulnerability point and can you prevent from hacking and the denial of service, those things. So I think you have to look at from security from like different perspective. Of course, security is not my best expert. expertise. But basically, first, so to give it a short answer or overview, you have to figure out which one from looking top-down layer, what we can contextualize, start moving into those first, still leave everything into the your data center or whatever, and start creating some way to communicate between each other and secure the endpoint between, right? And then once you start be comfortable with that, you can expand more and more, and think that's a way to go about it. And of course, evaluate every time you're doing it, trying to implement incrementally, right? Trying to see that where can you move it and still secure enough. Oh no, we have to do something and do more few testing, come back again. So you have to kind of slowly move it into agile and DevOps format, and there's kind of way around it. Yeah.
All right. I guess we can wrap it up now.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good.
오늘 참여해주신 여러분과 발표해주신 손지민님 감사드립니다. 앞에 말씀드린 대로 이번 세션은 레코딩이 되어서 다양한 방법으로 나눌 예정입니다. 오늘 세션을 다시 보고 싶으시거나 못 보신 세션이 있으시면 레코딩 세션으로 확인해 보실 수 있습니다. 오늘 멋진 2020 스마트 비즈니스 엑스포를 준비해 주신 달라스 한인상공회의소와 세미나에 도움 주신 카이타 여러분께 감사드리며 달라스 한인상공회의소와 카이타에 관해서 더 알고 싶고 궁금하시면 달라스 한인상공회의소 웹사이트와 카카오톡, 페이스북, 링크드인, 인스타그램, 유튜브 다양한 SNS 채널과 카이타 웹사이트 또는 contact@kaita.org로 연락해 주시면 감사하겠습니다. 또한 카이타 org로 등록하시면 카이타의 업데이트를 뉴스레터로 받으실 수 있습니다. 다른 세션에도 많은 참여 부탁드립니다. 여러분 감사합니다. Thank you for you all to attend this session, and thank you, Bryant for presenting the session. Today's session has been recorded and it will be shared by various ways. If you want to watch today's session again or sessions you will miss, please check the recorded sessions later. Special thanks to the Greater Dallas Korean American Chamber of Commerce and then KAITA staff to prepare this wonderful 2020 Smart Business Expo in these hard times. Please visit koreanchamber.org for more information about GDK ACC, and please join KAITA through KakaoTalk, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. Email us at contact@kaita.org if you have any question. Thank you all again for your participation, and please join us other session as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.